Let's talk about why a lot of people choose not to read indie books and why these reasons aren't really valid. The first reason is probably the thought that indie books aren't professionally edited. They think this because they've probably had experience with indie published books that have typos or rough prose. But a lot of indie authors actually invest in editors, and even traditionally published books still have typos. Quality varies with all publishing paths. Do you judge a book by its cover? Because a lot of people think that indie books do not have very good covers because of what indie books used to look like back in the day. But since then, indie publishing has grown exponentially. Cover design is actually considered one of the strongest points of indie publishing. And traditionally published books have been known to get their inspiration for their covers from indie published books. Another reason people tend to not buy indie published books is because they just think that indie books cannot compete with traditionally published books. And very often, especially with genres like fantasy and sci-fi, indie books outperform traditionally published books. Indie authors have creative control and they can set their own pricing and they can build direct relationships with their readers. Another misconception is that readers think that if the indie book was good enough, then it would have been chosen by a traditional publisher. And that's just not true. Publishers typically reject for market reasons, not based off of quality, right? They're looking for specific genres and what's trending right now. And indie authors have the ability to go to more niche genres and fill in those gaps where traditionally published books are missing. And we want diversity in our books, right? I know I do. I know that there's more reasons for why readers may not choose to read indie books, but let me know in the comments what you think about what I listed here and if I missed anything.